Hi there. Today we are going to talk about 5 the most strange moons in our solar system. When you think of strange places in space, you imagine quasars, supernovas, black holes, objects so far away their light takes billions of years to reach us. But some of the most disturbing worlds we've ever discovered are not far away at all. They're in our own solar system, right next door to Earth. Today, 5 moons. Not light years away. Some of them you could see with a backyard telescope. One of them is doomed to crash into its planet. One tumbles through space without any predictable pattern. One was destroyed and rebuilt. And one of them isn't even from here. After this video, your view of the solar system will not be the same. Mars has 2 tiny moons, and one of them is on a collision course with its own planet. Phobos orbits Mars at just 6,000 kilometers above the surface. That's closer to its planet than any other moon in the solar system. It moves so fast it laps Mars 3 times every single day, rising in the west, setting in the east, all within 4 hours. If you stood on Mars, you'd see Phobos race across the sky while you barely had time to finish a meal. But Phobos is dying. Every 100 years, it falls about 2 meters closer to Mars. The gravity of the planet is slowly pulling it in. In roughly 30 to 50 million years, the tidal forces will rip it apart. Some scientists believe its remains will form a ring around Mars, making Mars the only inner planet with rings. Others think the largest fragments will rain down on the Martian surface as massive impacts. And here's the most disturbing part. Phobos already looks like it's been hit by something that should have destroyed it. On one side of the moon sits Stickney Crater, almost 10 kilometers wide. To carve out a crater that size, the impact released energy that should have shattered Phobos completely. It survived. Barely. Its entire surface is now covered in long, parallel grooves, stress fractures from that ancient collision, still visible billions of years later. Phobos is a broken object, held together by gravity alone. And it knows its end is coming. Saturn has 146 known moons. The vast majority of them rotate predictably. One does not. Hyperion is a moon roughly the size of the U.S. state of Vermont. It's shaped like a potato that's been smashed and reassembled. Its surface looks like a deep-sea sponge, riddled with deep cylindrical craters with dark material at the bottom of each one. Nothing else in the solar system looks like it. But the truly disturbing thing about Hyperion isn't its surface. It's how it moves. Every other moon in the solar system has a stable axis of rotation. You can predict, years in advance, which side will face its planet at any moment. Not Hyperion. Hyperion tumbles chaotically. Its rotation is mathematically chaotic, meaning no equation can predict its orientation more than a few months ahead. If you stood on its surface, you would see Saturn rise from a different direction every single day. The sun would appear in random parts of the sky. There would be no pattern, no rhythm, no way to tell what tomorrow looks like. In 2005, when the Cassini probe flew within 500 kilometers of Hyperion, it discovered something else. Hyperion is electrostatically charged. It hums with static electricity strong enough to affect the spacecraft's sensors as it passed by. A tumbling, sponge-like, electrically alive rock. The strangest body Cassini ever photographed in 13 years of orbiting Saturn. Saturn has another moon, one that even NASA scientists openly admit they cannot fully explain the moon. Iapetus, pronounced Iapetus, is a moon about the size of Argentina. It orbits Saturn at a distance 3 times farther than our own moon orbits Earth. And from a distance, it looks like a yin-yang symbol painted in space. One hemisphere is bright like fresh snow. The other is black as coal. The boundary between them is sharp, like someone painted the moon by hand and forgot to blend the edges. For decades, this was a complete mystery. The modern theory suggests dust from another Saturnian moon, Phoebe, is sprayed onto the leading face of Iapetus as it orbits. The dark ice then absorbs more sunlight, heats up, and sublimates away, leaving even more dark material behind. A self-reinforcing process. Plausible, but the sharpness of the boundary still raises questions nobody has fully answered. Then there's the thing that hasn't been explained at all. Running around the equator of Iapetus is a mountain ridge 20 kilometers high, higher than 3 Mount Everests stacked on top of each other. It wraps around almost the entire moon, exactly along its equator, in a perfect line. No other body in the solar system has anything remotely like it. Theories range from a collapsed ancient ring of debris that fell onto the moon's surface to a slow contraction of the crust as Iapetus cooled and shrank. Decades after the Cassini mission ended, none of these explanations are fully accepted by the scientific community. A moon painted black and white, wrapped in a 20-kilometer scar that follows its equator exactly. And after almost 20 years of analysis, we still don't know who carved it. In 1986, NASA's Voyager 2 probe flew past Uranus and sent back images of one of its small moons. What it photographed shouldn't exist. Miranda is tiny, only 470 kilometers across, smaller than the country of Iceland. But its surface is a jigsaw nightmare. Smooth, ancient terrain sits directly next to deep canyons. Massive rectangular features called coronae look like they were stitched into the surface by hand. Cliffs cut at impossible angles. Geological formations clash against each other with no logical transition. It looks like a moon that was completely destroyed and then reassembled from the pieces. But wrong. The leading theory is exactly that. Miranda was likely shattered by a massive impact early in its history, and then its fragments slowly fell back together under gravity, settling into a chaotic new configuration. The wrong pieces ended up next to each other. Some scientists believe this may have happened more than once. And on the surface of this Frankenstein moon sits the tallest known cliff in the entire solar system. It's called Verona Rupes, pronounced Verona Rupees, a vertical drop of about 20 kilometers. To put that in perspective, it's more than twice the height of Mount Everest. If you stepped off the edge of Verona Rupes in a spacesuit, the gravity of Miranda is so weak that you would fall in slow motion for 12 full minutes. 12 minutes of falling. No air to slow you down, no sound, no wind. Just the cliff face passing you in absolute silence, in the cold light of a distant sun, on a moon that was destroyed and put back together long before life appeared on Earth.
Neptune has a large moon, and it shouldn't be there. Triton is bigger than Pluto. It's the 7th largest moon in the entire solar system. But unlike every other major moon, Triton orbits its planet backwards, the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation. No major moon that formed naturally around a planet does this. Triton's retrograde orbit is the smoking gun. It didn't form around Neptune. It was captured from somewhere else. Triton came from the Kuiper Belt, the same region of frozen debris where Pluto lives, 4.5 billion kilometers from the sun. Triton used to be a free body, drifting through the outer solar system on its own orbit around the sun. Then it strayed too close to Neptune. Neptune's gravity grabbed it and it's been a prisoner ever since. But Triton is more than just a captive. It's still alive. When Voyager 2 passed by in 1989, it photographed something nobody expected. Geysers on Triton's surface. Plumes of liquid nitrogen erupting 8 kilometers high into the thin atmosphere, leaving dark streaks on the icy ground. The surface temperature is minus 235 degrees Celsius, only about 40 degrees above absolute zero. The coldest world ever visited by a spacecraft. And yet something inside Triton is warm enough to drive active cryovolcanism. Beneath the ice, scientists strongly suspect
a moon that's falling onto its own planet. A moon that tumbles through space without any pattern. A moon painted black and white with a scar wrapped around its waist. A moon that was destroyed and rebuilt. And a moon stolen from the dark, still erupting, waiting to be ripped apart. All of this within our own solar system, within a few light hours of Earth. And these are only the moons we've actually explored. Beyond them, around planets we haven't reached yet, there are hundreds more. We have no idea what's out there. Tell me in the comments which of these moons disturbed you the most. Subscribe. Next video, we go even further out. Thanks for watching all the way to the end.